Remember when electric cars used to suck? I mean, I remember when we used to make fun of electric cars. Remember when Top Gear tested the new Tesla Roadster in 2008 and it didn't work, and then they said it didn't work, and then Elon Musk sued them because of course that's what he would do. But today, electric cars are cool, and better still, they're cheap. I count at least 4 models on sale in the US for under 30 grand. So we're actually at the beginning of the long promised future of fully electric personal transport. But are electric cars really the answer? Most Americans commute under 20 miles to work, but the average commute time is 37 years per day. We buy cars with expansive lists of options designed to make our lives simpler, then drive them right into traffic jams, every minute a test in homicide resistance. Cars are just too big for cities. Oh good, more cars. Now this is the part where my two-wheeled enthusiast friends would tell you to buy a motorcycle, and I'm inclined to agree. But what if you enjoy kale and don't hate the earth? What if you live in a city and you just want to get on a thing that just works and gets you to where you're going? In China, anyone who can't afford a car but is not poor enough to walk gets around on one of these, the electric scooter. They're cheap to buy and easy to maintain. They're easy to ride. Compared to cars, they take up less space on the road and less space in the parking lot. They're quiet. The problem is, it all looks rather drab. I mean, none of these are in any danger of looking cool, and they aren't exactly celebrations of human manufacturing achievement. So, you live in a city, and you're tired of sweating your ass off on your bicycle. You want to commute on something that doesn't pollute, and you want to look at least a little stylish while you do it. It doesn't really seem to be an option. So you just give up. You quit your digital effects job in Brooklyn, change your last name, and buy a pickup truck and move to Bozeman, Montana. But before you do that, I have something to show you. This is the NIU N1S Sport. And it shares more in common with a modern supercar than it does with another scooter. It has a German-engineered electric motor and a futuristic lithium-ion battery built by Panasonic. It has regenerative braking. It has a digital dashboard and selectable power modes. Its LED lamps automatically adjust to ambient light. The swing arm is made from an aluminum titanium alloy. It has suspension that suspends. It has an alarm. It has a GSM chip and links to your phone, so you can check up on it while you're at the office. It has a large, lockable, underseat storage compartment. Most importantly, it has a 60-mile range, more than enough to cover the average two-way city commute. If that's not enough, the battery is easily removed and charged independently, allowing you to keep one at work and one at home. But how is it to ride?
Main engine start.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
E.
So let's just get it right out of the way. This thing is not fast. I mean, would you expect it to be fast? Of course not. It's an electric scooter. But I think, with a top speed of about 52 to 55 kilometers an hour, it's fast enough for what you're probably going to use it for. It definitely handles surprisingly well. It's very responsive to inputs. It does have some ground clearance issues, especially when you lean left. It tends to scrape the side stand. which is a bit of a problem. But overall, you know, this isn't a canyon carving machine, but if you remove the side stand and you wanted to, you know, cruise around and pretend like you're a Valentino Rossi, nah, you really can't do that. How are the brakes? Pretty good. Despite my best efforts, I really can't get this thing to wheelie. I don't think it has, the way it delivers power isn't linear. When you first start, the power delivery is very, let's say, slow at first, and it builds. So you don't have all of your torque when you first twist the grip, which I suppose is to keep hooligans out of trouble. Another thing is you can't spin the rear by locking up the front brake. The ECU prevents you from doing that as well. So, you know, hooligans aren't gonna like that either, but this isn't a machine for hooligans, this is a machine for normal human beings. So while this area is fun to ride in, this isn't exactly where it's meant to be. Let's go check it out in city driving. One of the most interesting things about the brakes on this thing is that most of your braking force is actually from the rear. And despite the fact that the rear brake rotor is smaller than the front, that's where the regenerative braking happens. So the motor becomes a generator, and so you get a lot more slowdown force from the rear, which feels weird coming from a motorcycle. But that said, it's probably safe that's probably the safest way to do it for novices. And honestly, the front suspension on this thing is super divey, so if you grab a big bunch of front brake, you feel like this thing's just gonna plow into the ground. Despite the front end being a little divey, the suspension on this thing is, you know, reasonable. It's responsive to user input. I never feel like either end of the bike is vague. I always kind of know what's going on. And it absorbs potholes and bumps reasonably well, though I would suspect some people might like it a little less firm. The suspension, of course, is non-adjustable, but come on, this is a scooter. Oh, yep, just go ahead and do that. That's cool.
Speaking of nonsense, here's a dump truck driving into the bike lane.
The range of the new N1S, as stated by the company, is 100 kilometers, or about 62 miles on a full charge. I can say with much confidence that is pure nonsense. A much more realistic number is about 35 miles, if you ride stop and go and accelerate faster than grandma. This scooter seems to have everything. It even has self-canceling turn signals. It has a USB port to charge your phone. And the more you ride, the scooter's ECU and phone app work together to improve the range estimates. And yes, you can carry a passenger. I checked. So what we have here is an electric scooter with reasonable power, reasonable brakes, reasonable suspension, and loads of high-tech features. But what about the price? Is it reasonable? I like it. I like it a lot. So there it is, peeps. The scooter you want if you live in a city. There's just one problem. I just totally wasted your time.